Hello everyone, Corrine here. For those of you that don't know me already, I am the co-founder and executive director of Outsidersfarm and Sanctuary. We are located in Bowersville, Georgia, and we specialize in pig rescue. So this is my first ever official Q&A video. Please bear with me and its awkwardness. I think I've tried to record this at least a dozen times. I've tried to put out feelers for Q&A videos in the past. I've never been asked a question. Yesterday I just asked for shits and giggles basically, and I get 5 questions. Not 1, but 5. And I'm super excited that I got questions, but I'm a little nervous, just getting used to being in front of the camera like this. So thank you for your patience, and let's get started. So the first question, I'm really excited somebody asked. They said, how early can a pig get pregnant? And I'm so happy to answer this because I feel like so many people who get a pet pig or go to rescue a pig don't know the answer to this and don't realize how quickly they can have an accidental breeding situation on their hands. So a female pig, and I'm talking about a potbelly pig, I'm pretty sure it's the same for a big pig, but I'm just speaking out of certainty for a miniature pig. They can get pregnant as early as 3 to 4 months of age. So that means before they're even a year old, when they're only 7 or 8 months old, they can be giving birth to babies as babies themselves. And a male piglet can impregnate a female as early as 6 weeks of age. So you can have piglets getting each other pregnant and having babies as babies, and that's how so many pig situations get out of hand. Boy piglets can get their moms pregnant while they're still nursing on their mom, and it just spirals out of control from there. So we always say spay and neuter, and once a male pig has been neutered, I know this wasn't part of the question, but I want to throw this in there. Once a male pig has been neutered, they are not instantly sterile. They still need to be quarantined away from any intact female. They can get a female pregnant for up to 60 days after being neutered. So whenever we have had an intact male come to the sanctuary, we get him neutered as quickly as possible, normally within the week, and he lives in a bachelor pad for 60 days, just to make sure there's no chance of him getting out, getting anybody pregnant. We do spay our females here at the sanctuary. We took in a large hoarding case right before COVID hit, and our wonderful animal hospital is working through our list of spays needed. So we're actively having our female residents spayed as the surgery schedule allows. Wow, that was a long answer to one question. So, okay, I'm going to move on to question number 2 now. Who does your animals' hoof care? For the most part, it's me. I have learned from watching YouTube videos, other sanctuaries, from watching our vet and some professional farriers we've had out. I do almost all of our pig and goats' hoof care. Our cows have not needed a hoof trim yet, but when they do, they will go to the University of Georgia Veterinary Teaching Hospital. You can trailer them in and get their hooves done pretty easily, and it's pretty economical there, and we just don't have the chute equipment or a farrier that can come out to trim cow hooves. But for the most part, I do all of the pig and goat hooves. If there's a corrective trim that's needed or something I'm not sure about, either our goat vet, who is a mobile service, or our regular animal hospital that sees most of our pigs, they'll come out and help me out and address any questions I may have, or do the trim themselves. And of course, when anyone goes to get spayed or have any in-hospital work done, they get their hooves done there. Question number 3, do you still have a living caregiver or are you hiring? The only living caregiver we have right now, or plural, is our family. My husband Dan, myself, and our 3 children. Mara's 12. She's our eldest daughter. Porter's 10. That's our son. And Isley is our youngest daughter, and she's 9. We did have a live-in caregiver, which you probably saw last year. And I'll keep away the messy details and things like that, but before Outsiders was Outsiders and a sanctuary, this property belongs to Dan and I. It's our personal property, and it's our home for our family. And it is our utmost priority that our children are safe and not exposed to any people that would be a danger to them. So when the situation was no longer working out with that living caregiver, for reasons I'm just going to leave out, when we decided to part ways with them as an employee for the sanctuary, because they were living here, it became very complicated, and we actually had to go through the eviction process to get them to leave. So we had somebody who was not contributing, running up our bills essentially, because they were in a building on our property, using our utilities and all of that. We just don't feel comfortable having another live-in caregiver, because it was just really hard to get someone who made us feel unsafe to leave. So we don't have any living caregiver positions open. We've had a few instances where we've tried to hire somebody for part-time help. And Georgia is really hot in the summer. It's really hot. It's really humid. I think our farm has like a cloud repellent built around it, and it's like 90 to 100 degrees, super humid. Nobody wants to work in that. And it's really hard to find people who want to work at the sanctuary that care as much about the animals as we do. So we had trained a few people, and you would be amazed at how hard it is to find someone to properly fill a water trough. So we've kind of discontinued our search for hired help at the moment and have been utilizing volunteers, and that has been working out really well. We could always use more volunteers, and that way we can save as much of our donations as possible to cover food and medical care at this time. Question number 4, where does everyone sleep? Do you make sure they are all in bed before you head inside for the night? Yeah, we kind of do a nightly check, but basically our entire property has a barbed wire perimeter fence, and then within that fence is our actual fencing where the pigs and the cows and the goats are. And the pasture fencing that we have, that is kind of like the outer field where the cows and the big pigs are and the goats, all has electric fence on the top and the bottom for predator protection. And then our potbelly pig yards are kind of like in the center of all of that. Not in the I don't know how to explain it. Maybe I'll post a picture, but they're closest to our house, and so they're kind of protected from the outer shell of the pasture fencing. And we don't close anybody into their barns. Everybody has a barn to sleep in or a large pig house, but we don't close the doors or enclose anybody, just in case someone needs to go to the bathroom or there's a disagreement between certain pigs. They all have strong opinions. We want to make sure that they can leave their buildings freely, and we do have electrical in some of them, and we just want to make sure they always have a way to get out. So we go in for dinner around 8 p.m. and then we're back outside with the last of our dogs and to kind of have our final outing later in the night. I don't want to say the exact time just for like safety reasons in case someone weird is watching this, but we do just make sure everyone's kind of tucked in for the night and everybody's where they should be, and it's worked out great that way so far. So question number 5 is, what do traditional farmers or locals in your area think of a pig sanctuary? And that is a really mixed result. So some of them are super supportive and super kind, and they say they don't agree with us necessarily, but they respect what we do because they care about animals themselves. And then we meet total rednecks, and I really hate to use that word, but it's the best way for me to describe them, that see us posting, trying to get our community involved, and they say things like, you should be feeding hungry families instead. So I would say that most traditional farmers who are doing their best to, I'm trying to think of the right word here, because I don't support animal agriculture, but I think there are family farms in our area that do care about their animals and think that they are giving them a good life, and try to give them a peaceful life. I kind of went the wrong way with answering this. I'm not condoning animal agriculture, but there's just been some families in our area that understand what we're trying to do, and there's just kind of a mutual respect when we see each other at the feed store. But then there's the other part of the community, like the hog hunters and people who basically hunt animals and kill them for sport, and have 4 brain cells that can be kind of bullies in the community. So it's been a little hard to get as much community support and engagement as we would have liked, but we are making some headway with respectable people. So sorry I butchered answering that last question, but yeah, those are the 5 questions, my 5 answers. Thank you so much for all your patience, and if you want to drop any more questions in the comment section below, I will make another Q&A video next week. So thank you all. Have a great night.